Hey Coach, it's Coach Simpson. For those of you who may be new to this channel, I run my own website, fbcoachsimpson.com. Produce a lot of different materials. Appreciate you coming by. Of course, feel free to search the channel or go over to the website and find whatever you want. So, I'm going to talk today about attacking man-to-man. This is a defense that if you don't have answers for, you're going to see a lot more of. I don't know about where you are, but this seems to be kind of a common answer to try to stop the run that a lot of defenses will go to. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of different tips that we do in my offense, but a lot of these will carry over to whatever offense you may run as you're looking to attack what I would consider kind of a common front. A lot of people now are getting into what we see at least is man zero to try to condense down and get as many guys into the box as possible. So you got to have different answers for it. So the first answer that we look for is to try to find the best matchup. I don't know where you are, but for me, typically, we want to get our best player or one of our best players matched up on the weakest cover guy. So a simple way to do that, even if he's not a running back by trade, is to put a really good athlete at the running back position when you're playing a man-to-man team. Typically, the defense is going to line up corner versus number one, safety versus number two, so on and so on. So if you're in a look, which is basically a 2x2, and we're tight end wing, but essentially that's a 2x2 look, and you may get a different flavor here. We're going to draw man-to-man with our running back. And so there's ways to get him the ball in the passing game on routes. So we like to run waggle is a big play for us, where we're basically going to play action fake here, clear the field, okay, and then bring him on some kind of maybe a rail route or a wheel route or whatever you want to call it, where he's coming up here and now we're picking on whoever's playing him man-to-man. Okay, another way to do it for us is to line him up in the backfield and do like a quick, either shift him out and then bring him back in, or line him up out and bring him in later, or we can identify who's covering him. So he's lined up here, and they're in man, somebody's got to go with him. So essentially, let's say they decide to cover it like this. So now everyone on our team can see as he comes to the backfield who's got him, who's in charge of him. Okay, so if this defender was out and came back in, we now know that he has him in man-to-man. So we can run a lot of different kind of mesh type concepts where you can clear it, bring traffic, and bring him on a shoot route or bring him on a wheel route or whatever you want to run. If you don't want to go that route, you can even look at throwing screens to him. So if we now know, let's say that he's moved down and moved back in, we know this linebacker is responsible for our running back. Then we'll drop back, invite the rush, make sure we seal the one guy responsible for the running back, or it could be whichever one it is, and throw a slow screen to him or pretend to pass block and slip him out. So there's a couple different easy ways to get the ball to your F against man-to-man, which we call our running back. The other ways you can attack man-to-man is by motioning and shifting. For us, we're big into motions and shifts when we see teams that want to play whatever flavor of man. And here's why. So one of our common sets we may get into, we'll just stay in the set we're in right now. Okay? If we're in this set right here and we stay stationary, we're pretty easy to cover in man. And you know where we are, everybody's eyes in the right place, so we can shift a few different people. I like to bring a guy from one side of the field to the other, and it can be either way. So for instance, if we bring that type of motion, it's not a very difficult concept for our kids to learn, but you have to think about it like the defense is thinking about it. This is going to cause some adjustment, especially if they're playing man. As our slot comes in motion, the defense has to make a decision. Who's going to handle him on this side of the field? Okay? Are they going to try to run with him, which is one option? And if they do, then you can run a lot of your kind of motion pick play type action. Or are they going to try to spin? Maybe spin him here and spin somebody over to go pick him up. So let me give you another example. All right. Let's say we go like this. What are we getting? Okay, are they going to try to run with him? all the way, well, then you can run, we call it rub or pick or whatever you want to call it, where we're going to bring guys in and just dump it out there in a little shoot route. Or are they going to try to spin coverage? Okay, and if they're going to spin coverage, now their run fits have altered. And I think that's one thing that a lot of man-to-man teams don't really anticipate a lot of times, is we can alter your run fit even though you're in man, and it shouldn't. The goal of being in man is to try to keep that box. So the goal for me offensively is to try to put guys in conflict. So I can do that by going motion, because now if he fits out here, has to go pick up whatever's coming, somebody else has got to fit this gap. This gap right here, somebody else on their team has got to fit that gap. So just a couple quick, easy tips. I've got a whole course, I believe, on my website and other places that talk about specifically how we attack it. But I thought those would be good, quick tips. Just think about it. If you're getting man-to-man, one, do your best to find the best matchup. And generally, that's going to be about moving a good athlete to a slot or to even running back if possible. And then two, try to use a lot of motion. Try to use a lot of motion, especially from one side of the field to the other side of the field, or maybe from the backfield out. Different things that causes stress on the defense. For your offense, and for most offenses, adding in a motion or a little twist is not a very expensive install. But when you're thinking of it like a defensive coordinator thinks about it, it causes a lot of problems, and it kind of discourages or makes them pay for trying to play man-to-man against you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, feel free to search the channel or just go over to the website if you want to get a lot more materials, or just reach out to me, fbcoachsimpson@gmail.com. Thank you.